The biggest difference between Ukrainians and Russians is not in our culture, food, history, language, or whatever else, but in our mentality. In the time of war, Ukrainian people are waiting in very long lines to get rifles to defend their own country, when Russian people wait in very long lines to get money from ATMs. Several people asked me about the photo of food that is supplied to Russian soldiers and how is it possible to give expired food to the soldiers. You should understand that Russian army, as well as Russian government and most of their government-related organizations, are incredibly corrupt. This means that people who have access to any flows of money or any sort of material things try to take from them as much as they can to fill their pockets. The army and entire this military organization itself is not only soldiers and their equipment, it's also huge cost for maintenance, because you need to feed them, you need to fuel the vehicles, you need to do some maintenance on the weapons, buildings, and everything. And all these maintenance services are usually provided by some external companies by contracts. It's very difficult to confirm whether any work related to routine maintenance has been really done or not. Imagine if you buy some equipment, let's say 10 vehicles, you can easily see that, okay, there are 10 vehicles here. But in Russia, if you buy, let's say, 2,000 tons of fuel for the army, you can be sure that only half of this is going to be delivered, and the huge tanks with fuel maybe are going to be only half full. Imagine that there is an army general and his friend who owns a company that supplies food to the army. And there are these packages of food that have to be restocked every 2 years, meaning that the old ones have to be thrown away and new ones should be bought and used as a replacement. And I think, this is useless because nobody is going to use them anyway. So what can we do? We can just make a fake contract, pretend that this work has been done, and in the end we just put the money into our pockets. And I think this is all the story is a very, very good indicator that almost every country that has very, very big military and at the same time a very corrupt government faces a situation very similar to this, when despite huge number of soldiers, usually most of them are poorly equipped. Do Russian people support Putin? The answer is sure, yes. Here I need to remind everyone that this is not the first military invasion by Russia to other countries. And Ukraine has been invaded not a week ago, but 8 years ago. And Georgia has been invaded 15 years ago. In 2018, already after the military invasion of Ukraine, a presidential election was held in Russia. And I think it's a very good numerical indicator of what people think. Even if some cheating took place in that election, that was not game-changing, because Putin knew that he was going to win anyway, so there was no much reason to try to fake the results of that election. And among of all running for the office candidates, only 2 of them made public statements that what Russia is doing to other countries is a crime. Unfortunately, these 2 candidates who made their statements that all this is wrong scored below 3% of the popularity vote together. Many people who don't like Putin, there are many people who really hate him, and these are mostly well-educated people, and obviously these are the ones who can speak English. This is why if you communicate with someone from Russia in English, there is a much higher chance that this person is going to be disagree with Putin and what he is doing. But unfortunately, even in their own land, they are a minority. Are Ukraine and Russia the same? Both Ukrainians and Russians belong to the Slavic. In fact, modern Ukrainians are descendants from the old country of Rus. And the modern Ukrainian language is much more similar to the original Rus language than modern Russian. Ukrainian is a country, and Ukrainian people have very, very long cultural history, and our capital, Kiev, was founded 1600 years ago. It's an incredibly old city. Because Ukrainian and Russian languages belong to the same language group of Slavic languages, we can talk to each other and we can understand each other if we put some effort into this and talk slowly. But this is seldom needed in real life because most Ukrainians can also speak Russian. The biggest difference between Ukrainians and Russians is not in our culture, food, history, language, or whatever else, but in our mentality. In the time of war, Ukrainian people are waiting in very long lines to get rifles to defend their own country, when Russian people wait in very long lines to get money from ATMs.